Yo, you tuning into the Notion Podcast. I'm your host, Dizzy D Spill, with my co-host in the building.
Your guy, Farmer Poe. I'm here on time.
And we got a new episode of Outlawed Opinions. We know you love it, so we're gonna continue to contribute to those that love these conversations that I be having with my brother. Before we dive into a lot of topics, I definitely wanted to know, brother man, how are you feeling right now, brother?
Like right now? Or
yeah. Just I don't know, life. Like this part of the year. You know what I'm saying? This episode of America.
Is this the first quarter?
Yeah, I think we're coming to the bottom of the first quarter.
Bottom of the first.
Yeah.
In the bottom of the first, I'm good. Yeah, like honestly, I'm feeling good. Like I'm in a good space.
Okay.
You know, there are things that you want to progress to, and you still got goals and things in life that you want to attain. But as far as like how I feel on a day to day,
that's changeable, man.
That's the part.
I don't trust people. I don't trust people that's chipper every day.
Nah. This is the first time in a long time that I can remember where I don't have the same stresses as I did for umpteen years. You know
yeah.
So as far as feeling how I'm feeling good on a day to day,
right?
I'm not overstressed. In a real way. Yeah, I'm good, man. I'm feeling good. I'm looking good. I'm smelling good. And you know what I'm saying? They say
I got a compliment today on how I smelled. I went to go pay a bill, and it was people actually. Like one person said something. Said, yeah, I was wondering what that was, and I was like, yeah,
that's that.
So yeah,
what you had on?
That T'Challa by Wakanda.
The what? And you said what
I basically I don't wear the same. Like I wear multiple fragrances. I layer.
So you like when you go, like as a kid, when you used to go to the soda fountain, you mix the Sprite with the lemonade, with the strawberry.
Yeah. That's how I do. But I make sure. But what I do is I make sure that they're all the same strength of scents. Because some people think they can just throw in some rubbing alcohol and Old Spice. You know what I'm saying? Nah, it has to if it had because certain fragrances have
smell strong.
Yeah, certain stuff has to be like for spring you want more of a citrus smell.
Got it.
Right. For winter you want that spice smell because of the weather.
And so when you do what's your cologne routine? How you do it? How you get when you ready? Like I'm about to kill him with this.
So the first thing I do, and I'm gonna give credit because I'm not gonna act like I was the originator of this. Shout out to the Style OG. He's a YouTuber with men's fashion. So he called the Style OG.
Because there's two different people I follow on Instagram. What do you look like?
He older brother. He older than us. And he always wears suits and he always gives like pointers on.
Do he got a beret on a lot?
Nah, he don't have no beret on.
Got it. Okay.
But he got suits and stuff. I actually found him through Kevin Samuels.
I got mine from Kevin Samuels, and it's a couple of other folks that I kind of follow. But we since we was this high.
Yeah.
So you know what I'm saying. You learn how you really want to wear it. But
yeah.
What you do?
What I do? I learned from him is first I put Vaseline on the areas I'm gonna put cologne on.
I heard about that recently.
And what it does is it traps the fragrance. So I put Vaseline behind the ears.
Got it.
Not towards gloss. You gotta rub it in your skin.
Got it.
And then neck, wrist, hands, whatever. And then that's where I spray. And the reason why I spray behind the ear, the neck, the chest area is because when you're close to somebody, give somebody a hug, they're gonna smell right here. But if they're in close proximity, they're gonna be like, what's that?
Because I got one, bro.
But I layer multiple scents. But check this out. Okay. Yesterday, because I had to work yesterday, I tried my own fragrance and I layered it.
Working on, got it.
Yeah, and so I used my own and I kind of mixed it with something I already had, and then I made sure I pulled up on the wife before I left. Like, all right, I'm out.
When you did that and you was walking out the door, what was her response?
Well,
where you going?
Well, my wife, and she gonna give me this look when she see this episode.
She was asking where you was going.
What my wife does, right, is
good.
I get talked to like I'm a prostitute. When I'm, that's how I know I smell good and I look good.
Yeah,
I get talked to like a prostitute.
She
Like,
was on your
yeah,
ass.
so like if I'm stepping out to go somewhere, like if I'm going to do a photo shoot or something or whatever, you know what she'll say? She's like, "Are you smelling good for them inches? For them inches,
for the streets.
You smelling good for them? Oh, you looking good for them inches?" And I'm like, "Thank you, baby. I appreciate it."
The
You know
Target
what I'm saying?
aisles is the streets now.
Yeah.
So why you
So-
pulling up at like that at Target?
Yeah, we not allowed to. You know what I'm saying? We not allowed to. You know, and why you moisturizing every day? You know what I'm saying?
Where you think you going?
Yeah. So, you know, that's what I do. But I got the compliment, and it turned into a domino effect. It was like, "Oh, you smell really good," by the way. And I was thinking, like, "Yeah."
That was your
I was
response.
wondering.
You said, yeah.
No, that's what other people were saying.
Oh, God.
Everyone's like, "Yeah, I was wondering."
It was like in a movie back in the 90s. Like, yeah, that's what I thought too.
That's what happened, right? And so, you know, me, you know, I went boys to men. I'm, yeah, thank you, I appreciate it. You know what I mean?
You tried to
Appreciate
go
it,
Michael,
you know?
the one who don't sing.
Yeah, I was.
He just talked.
Yeah, I was like, I appreciate y'all.
Yeah, ladies, let me just tell you.
I'm gonna get up out of here. I'm gonna get up out of here.
Nah, see.
So yeah, man, I appreciated the compliment.
Nice routine. So my thing is, you know, you hit the
Wrist action, yeah.
Gotta hit the wrist.
Yeah.
The shoulder.
Yep.
Boom.
Yep.
Then what I do is from the wrist, I pop behind it.
Oh, okay. So you
wrist.
double up on the wrist so you can get behind it. Yeah. All right.
Like I don't do with this. I don't rub it in.
Uh-huh.
You don't rub it in.
Yeah.
You
and then okay.
It's like it's like a kata or the boxing. You have to learn the technique.
Right.
All right. So then, boom. Then you hit the shoulder spray
right.
from a distance.
Okay.
Let that soak in, marinate.
I hope y'all paying attention because this is a cologne tutorial on how to put your cologne on.
And then what else? I don't do the extra. Like
yeah, I don't believe in the spray cloud and you walk into it like it's gonna come on like an Iron Man suit. You gotta be specific, designated areas when you apply the fragrance for sure.
I got one I like the oil based ones, right? So I got an oil based one that's fire to where it's undeniable.
You talk about how the Middle Eastern cats, the oils and the musks and stuff like that. Because I got some of that and they go crazy,
it's
bro.
It's a spray, but it's an oil based spray.
I got some Egyptian musk that go crazy. Sometimes I use that as my base layer.
So this one
I
ain't
throw
no
all the other stuff on, man.
Ain't no Egyptian. I don't know where they got it from.
Yeah, see,
but
it's probably from Wakanda.
the walk by.
Yeah,
that's the test right there.
Yeah,
it's you know what I'm saying. The walk by, I have a.
That's when the Barry White come on. Do 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 do. Doom 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 doom. Yeah.
just leave a trail.
A
trail of musical notes.
Yeah, music notes. Yeah, a trail of music notes.
Just behind you. And as you walk into that shit, you like, what the
and you see the word,
you get transfixed.
See, hey, they need to hire us for fragrance commercials, man. So, you see what I'm saying?
I'm not gonna say the name of it. Because
man, you can't give all the game away. You can't give all the game away. Come on now.
And yeah, I'm gatekeeping on that one. That's the one I'm buying like every year and a half or so. Like,
so you preserve
sure I got it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You're not supposed to use that much, but
the good thing about gatekeeping is if you find your way in the gate, then you get that information. So
all right, before we leave this topic, old school. Now, if you've been wearing cologne, smell good, some of y'all just now getting in the game, but the old school, I'm gonna say the top 3 old school scents that I used to kill.
Okay.
For me. Jupe.
Bruh.
Talk to me. Jupe.
My boy KT from Indianapolis put me on Jupe.
My grandfather.
Shout out to you, KT.
That's something your
I don't care what nobody say.
That's how your grandfather.
I don't care what nobody
say.
Jupe smells good. It is a great and it's affordable.
Your grandfather got your grandmother off the Jupe.
Yeah.
And
you hear because of
his
Jupe.
gift of gab, it was there too, but the Jupe got her transfixed and she couldn't.
See, back then he had to Jupe his shot. You know how people shoot their shot? He Juped his shot.
Jupe.
Yeah. That's how we got here.
We're gonna say a lot of y'all might not know Jakar.
Okay. I've never had, but I've always been familiar with Jakar.
That was my first one. And then I'm gonna say for the new age, it was Curve. It was that green bottle of Curve. I bought one just to buy it. I don't use it, but I just bought it to just put it there.
Check this out.
I remember that.
So check this out.
Oh
You see, yeah. I got a bottle of that right now.
You just keep it there for like I
actually mixed that. I actually mixed that fragrance with, and you know, I'll give this one away because not everybody gonna want to buy it. I actually mixed that fragrance I just told you with Dior's. Yeah.
You know how some people buy shoes,
the Sauvage,
or something that's like, I'm not finna wear that, but it's just nostalgic curve right there.
Yep.
So yeah, that's me.
Yeah.
Tube, curve, Jacquard.
Yep. But you know what? I will give this game away. If y'all do want to know about dope fragrances, go check out Kevin Samuel's video. It's a 2-hour video he did for men called Stuff Your Father Should Have Taught You.
I think I seen that.
And he goes through fragrances. Yeah. He tells y'all how y'all need to keep your car in your house, what you need to have in your house when you got a lady over. It's actually informative. And he gives some dope. He gives universal fragrances, not personal preferences, but universal proven fragrances. And that's where I got some ideas from that on there too.
You know, I would love to see. Love to see somebody who had the same energy as Kevin Samuels. In the women's side. I would love to see somebody who gave game to women in that way, but like had the same energy.
I feel like it's multiple women in that space that do that, but I'm gonna tell you why I'm not gonna shout them out. I'm not gonna shout them out, not because they're doing things wrong, but I feel like they kind of lead with that sexual desire to get people to watch them.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. They gotta be somebody who I could say, yo, that is not even just saying like she would be the female version of Kevin Samuels, but to give an example of what I mean. But somebody who had that same energy, not an older woman like Yanla.
I was going.
But I'm saying nah. That's a grandma.
What about Dr. I always say her name wrong, but because she's older too. Shahara.
See, I don't know that one.
You do know. Mm-hmm. You've seen her before. She was on Hidden Colors. The OG sister that was on Hidden Colors. When she was talking about she had her son in homeschool, and then when she put him in public school, his grades were falling. Because you put me on Hidden Colors, so I know you watched.
I don't remember her. I remember, Dr. Cresswell.
Shahara Ali, I think. We'll get to that.
Yeah. But anyway.
But I know what you mean.
We got a few topics out here, right?
Yo, we got to get to it, man. I think we're going to go popcorn style on this real quick. And I think it's all going to correlate because I feel like all the topics can connect in a way. I want to start out with the LeBron James getting at Stephen A. Smith on the sideline over the way he was critiquing his son, Bronny. I want to know, we're both fathers. We are now in our culture starting to understand the concept of gatekeeping and nepotism. And so LeBron left the huddle at almost 7 feet tall, pulled up on Stephen A., who was standing courtside, and got on his helmet. You know what I'm saying about his criticism with Bronny. So as a father, as a black man, content creator, and understands what comes with the territory, how do you feel about the approach that LeBron took? Because obviously Stephen A. Smith has some stuff to say afterwards. You know, he pulled a Smokey. I'll be talking again, right? So what is your perspective on that as a father and as somebody that I know is really good at playing devil's advocate?
I've been trying to figure out what I really think about that whole situation. Because one, I've never had the experience of someone being, having a full observation and using being in the same position as Stephen A. Smith in criticism of my son. Okay. It's always been a family member or somebody who I would respect and leave it up to them to check my son when necessary on certain things or to even express whatever observation they may have. Okay. So I can't say really how I think I would feel, because also I'm not one to be
hypersensitive
about my son. So if it was somebody saying something that I felt was real, whether it's a criticism of me or not, I'm always gonna be like, oh shit, you right. Yeah. I get it. So I don't really know how I really feel about that whole situation, because I'm trying to put myself in his shoes, and those shoes is kind of too big Paul, like I can't fit in those shoes. I wear size 8.
Why you tell them that?
I don't care. It ain't like they're gonna look at my foot and be like, damn, that nigga he might wear a 10 or he might wear a 9.5. Nah, I wear 8, so it is what it is. So I can't fit them shoes. But honestly, I've just been trying to figure out how I really feel about that, because I've never really had that experience of someone on the outside having criticism of my son.
Okay.
And usually you kind of get a little. The pattern of criticism that I get from most people is like they like my son. He's a great kid.
He is.
And then, there might be situations that they may have to address or whatever.
Right.
So that's just been my experience to really go off of.
I think it's easy for parents to get a little protective, because your child is a reflection of your parenting, but they're still their own individual. So it's kind of like a fine line. There's some people that had all the right resources, all the right teachings, and their child just decided to deviate differently. And that's where the individualism comes from, or, hey, I'm still my own person. I got my own mind and thoughts. But what I think about the Stephen A. Smith, LeBron James, when it comes to Stephen A. Smith, I'm pretty sure he already understands that, dog, people are going to get at you, bro, because you go ham. Like, there's a reason why you're paid over $100 million to do what you do, because you play the bad guy well in scenarios where people expect you to be the hero. And that's going to drive numbers. That's going to drive ratings. I mean, he's shared on countless times where Kobe has called him and got on his helmet. But that's the difference with the LeBron James situation. Kobe Bryant got on the phone with him and was like, hey, bro, what's your problem? You didn't watch the game. And he had a whole segment talking about how Kobe called him out. I just think that the problem I have with how LeBron handled it is you did it on stage, Brody. And I learned as a young...
You wanted an audience.
Yeah. And I learned from a very, very, very wise friend of mine when we were teenagers that, hey, bro, you really find out who a man is or who a person is when you take the audience away and you have a one-on-one conversation.
Yeah, because when you say it like that, for me, I'm not the type to want to... I'm not no tough guy. I'm not no street thing. I'm not none of that. But you know that I have a standard of how I like. I'm not trying to have no audience about nothing that I'm doing.
Right.
So I don't want to talk you on the phone.
Right.
So as LeBron, you could get at Stephen A. Smith in a whole different environment. You could find out where to pull up on Stephen A. Smith without trying to doing it on the sideline.
You could get that man's phone number.
Pull up on him at the sideline, and it looked kind of corny to me on that end because now you want the audience instead of really trying to like, hey. And to me, I feel even more as a man to like, I don't need no audience. I don't want no audience. I'm pulling up. If I'm going to pull up on somebody in that fashion, I'm not doing that to have an audience. I feel more of a man to do it where it's like, hey, I did this over here in private. I don't need no audience for me to feel some type of way. Like you gotta, that's a boost sometimes. And although these men or these people, like a lot of men may be genetically tall, broad in stature, right? But in your heart, you're not that type of
potatoes
dude and lion. So yeah,
smash
you have
potatoes,
this
man.
Athleticism, and you have, but some men are not secure in themselves in certain areas, and in that way, LeBron exhibits that sometimes, and even on the court, they talking about how you not like you're LeBron, but you don't have the dog in you.
Yeah,
you get what
because it's like the stature. People have this criticism with the stature doesn't match the heart. Right. So like a bear is huge, but a bear is a problem. A lion is huge. A lion is a problem. Yeah. Apparently the T-Rex was huge.
But a Wolverine small as a motherfucker.
Yeah. Yeah.
Guess what?
It'll break you down.
It's a problem.
Yeah. Yeah.
So people associate, like children associate height with age.
Yeah.
People associate size and height in men.
Strength.
Or just exhibiting certain types of athleticism or masculinity in certain arenas as really about your heart.
Yeah.
And sometimes we as men, we be looking like, nah, that's not how you would do it.
So I'll break it down like this because I definitely like that perspective. I look at it like this. So I seen some dialogue go back and forth with Carmelo and D Wade, who have both been teammates of LeBron and have been in the league. I think they're the same draft class or similar, close to the same draft class, right? Mm-hmm. And D Wade's perspective was basically like, man, y'all know my relationship with Bron, and yeah, as a dad. And then Melo had more of a balanced logic where it's like, man, Stephen A. gonna do what he do, and LeBron, gonna do what he do as a father. But here's my perspective. Here's how I see it. When you sign up for a job, it's just like us doing content right now. We sign up for the comments, the likes, the dislikes, the debates, let me go look up their personal page so I can say something about them or whatever. We're signing up for this, not because that's what we want, but we understand that what we want out of this, that comes with it, right? So we all know Bronny got into the NBA because of King James, okay? We know that. We know that doesn't take away the fact that he's a pretty good basketball. I think Bronny's a better basketball player than Marcus Jordan, Jordan's son. I think he's better than some of the other athletes' children that play the sport as well. But would I put him on the same level as Ja Morant? Would I put him on the same level as a lot of these younger players that got into the league because of what they did in college and what they've been doing throughout their career? Come on now. So when you're an NBA player or when you are a celebrity, he's been a celebrity since the minute he's been on his dad's TikTok videos dunking on the Fisher-Price course, right? They've been these people. Bryce James, same scenario. So you got to understand that comes with the job. But my thing is with Bron, if you're going to call out somebody because you feel like it's personal, you got to take it off stage. Otherwise, we think it's a show.
Also, what I can say for it too is like, all right, you are what people would say is the GOAT of basketball, arguably, right? Mm-hmm. So your objection and your observation of basketball as a sport in all different ways, you have some sort of eye and observation and have seen people at different levels come up and down, whether they were on your level or not, or below you. You can be objective, right? To know the skill set of your son versus others who should be on his same level or whose level he should be on. So with that as a factor, and then you put in that you're using nepotism to have your son be getting to the league, not only just to the league, but on the same team as you at the same time. With those two factors in there, how would you not factor in that people would have a negative opinion of that? That's another factor.
And look,
right?
I know a very popular father that was involved with the NBA named LaVar Ball.
Let's talk about it.
LaVar Ball spent more time championing his boys and saying why they're great, how they're going to get drafted, how good they are. He didn't really spend too much time with the criticism. He just kept, and if somebody did give criticism, his rebuttal is the pedestal he put his boys on. Despite what anybody want to say about the Ball brothers, all three of them played in the NBA at some point and at the same time at some point.
He got 2 out of 3 right now.
Right.
And one got the one got a record.
Oh, one is doing.
I ain't gonna. It ain't like I'm pushing that. But
yeah, those are the facts.
2 out of 3 is amazing.
And this is coming from a father that did not play in the NBA.
2 out of 3 is amazing.
Yeah. And I think that when you look at people like him, when you look at Joe Jackson, when you look at Venus and Serena's father, these are fathers that didn't even master the profession that they put their children in. But you know what they did? They made sure they were that good that it was undeniable. The only way you could critique them is if you just were trying to show your hater cards.
See, with those type of fathers, I think what they have a better knack at, like, they say usually their kids get into the NBA because they are extremely skilled, but they kind of know that what it is that needs that extra oomph to get there, and then they also still have that same drive and passion to have wanted to get into the league themselves, that it's transferred into the energy that they put into getting their kids there. So like,
well, they're also watching their kids from the audience, so they're seeing the mistakes, they're seeing the improvements, and they're seeing the potential, right? And no slight at LeBron, because he's been in the league for over 20 years at this point. How much time did you have to be able to sit and observe and be like, okay, by this age I was doing this, so I'm gonna have him working on that. It don't. Ain't
no slight on.
Yeah, it's not no slight. It's just you didn't have that.
Superman.
Yeah, you can't be at the game and playing in the game at the same time. So it's no slight. But at the same time, with you understanding those facts, you got to understand that these analysts have a job to do, because you can't. Because here's the thing: you want to critique the people that's critiquing your son and critiquing you, but there's a lot of people that be giving you way more credit than you deserve. You're not correcting them. And to me, so it's one of those things where
Stephen A is being critical, right?
Yeah.
Is he being disrespectful?
And nobody is safe.
Is he being disrespectful?
No, I don't think so.
Then to me, it's null and void to me. As long as somebody not disrespecting my son, I don't care. You can be as critical as you want, because first of all,
he wouldn't be on TV. He wouldn't be on TV, right? Like, an example of disrespect was obviously the fall of Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharp. You critiqued you said one person was better than him over an argument that wasn't even about, and then you continue to downplay what he's contributed to the sport. That's disrespect. But somebody saying, you can't sit up there and be like, hey man, stop talking about my son, and he only knocked out like 4 points, he had a couple turnovers, his playing time. Like, these are the facts. Because here's the thing: if it was another athlete, right, talking about, his son like that, I'm pretty sure Brian probably wouldn't mess with him, but Brian's rebuttal would be like, but bro, look at your numbers. Look, why are you in the league then? It's an easier argument. It's kind of a harder argument when you're arguing with an analyst who's there to study your strong suits and your shortcomings.
Like, it's not cheating, but it is fake cheating.
Yeah.
So like, even when you fake cheating, then you can't be mad at the criticism.
Yeah.
Like, just take it as like, okay, fuck all that. I don't care if y'all think I fake shit or whatever.
Bro, you got to take both.
He's here. So whatever I did, why ain't nobody do it before me?
Bro, you got to take both. You got to take the sun and the blue skies, and you have to take the rain.
You didn't do nothing illegal. I did what I did. My son here, guess what? We finna eat.
Right.
And if you don't like it, you don't like it. But I'm not finna be mad at you for not liking it. I don't care.
I mean, I agree with that.
You can accept it or respect it, but
I will say,
don't check it.
But I will say, I will say this, bro. As brothers, as men, black men, we do have to do a better job at conflict resolution and disagreements, because we can't sit up here and expect the youth to handle things in a civil manner, but the OGs and the older cats is acting like kids when they have a disagreement too.
Yeah, but he definitely did that for the audience, because he said a few words. It wasn't even like
bro, this is mid huddle. This is mid huddle, bro. So I mean,
I don't know how much time he got to do anything else, but like, if it's about my kids, bro, like, if it's that serious and it's about my kids, then that little bit, I would have needed more time for the little bit of time I felt like I had. You know what I'm saying? So like, if I'm on your ass about some shit about my kids, then I'm not gonna just say a few words in the little bit of time that I think I had to. Like, it seemed like it was only a matter of seconds of what he said. So it's like, all right.
And Stephen A said he kept looking at him like before he came over there.
Yeah, and it's like,
I don't know, man.
I mean, I don't know how I don't know. Like I said, we all we doing is speculating and observing from the outside. We don't know the intricacies of time and how much communication they've had. Maybe they've had communication behind the lines. I don't know. But all I know is,
man, look, bro, we regular we regular people that do what we do every day, bro, and we can find time. We don't have assistants. We don't have butlers. We don't have chefs. We don't have all of these things that we could delegate our schedule to. We have, we
make this grilled cheese real quick. I'll be right back.
We don't have that luxury, and we still find the time, bro. So no excuses. I'm not giving these men any excuses. But since we're on a father topic, Captain America.
Blacked in America.
All right.
in America.
Anthony Mackie sat down, I believe, was it with the Pivot podcast? I think it was the Pivot podcast.
I'm not sure.
And he was talking about hard work and opportunities, and he basically touched on two things that I think can connect with the LeBron and Stephen A. Smith scenario, right? One thing that I appreciate that he said that needed to be said by somebody that is, on a higher level, right, was the fact that we've been lying to our kids about working hard and getting the results out of working hard. And he said opportunities are not earned, they're given. And I sit here at the age that I'm at now, and I can honestly say I agree with that. And I feel like I believe the only way that the opportunities are not given is if you do everything in your power to create the opportunity yourself, which is where you get the content creators from, the independent artists, the businessmen that build from the ground up, which is we've seen a rise in that since we've became adults. We've seen more independent entities become successful. But I appreciated him saying that because I think it needs to be talked about more. I think it needs to be expressed more. And, you can speak on that. But then he also kind of moved into another direction where he talked about how he raises his boys and how they're basically the concept of what a actual man is becoming extinct in this country. Those aren't his words. I'm kind of paraphrasing or kind of freestyling it. But speaking on that, because again, we are both fathers and we both also have boys. What did you think about that concept of lying to the kids about hard work and how he's raising his boys because of the shortage of the appreciation of what masculine men are?
So on the first one, I don't think it's a lie that we lied to people about what hard work is, because hard work used to be laborious type of work. So that term, I think, came about when it was work that was more laborious.
Yeah.
But as far as going up the ladder in life, as in many of the maybe potentially corporate type businesses,
yeah,
or even in government jobs and state jobs and things of that
or
nature,
even professional sports.
Yeah, hard work doesn't necessarily
doesn't guarantee anything.
And what he's saying is what I've experienced throughout my life is I'm not a slacker or none of that. I do know what hard work is, and I put in hard work. But for me, my experience has always been relationships is how you get in the door.
Yeah.
So
your network is your net worth.
I've never gotten a job from just having an application and just randomly applying to any business or
really
anywhere. No job I've ever had was due to me just going to fill out an application for somewhere I wanted to work at. Somebody opened the door for me, and I knew somebody.
Wow.
Never. And I'm talking about since the time I was a kid. I've never gotten a job from just my
Hey, man, that's a blessing. That's dope.
It's always been a door open.
That's a blessing. That's dope. I obviously have experienced that. I mean, I've experienced my first two jobs in my younger days. One, the homie's dad, put in the word for us. Then the second one, my older brother, but the third one, the one that I was, been at the longest, that was all me. But it was but I think the
3 jobs.
Yeah.
And
I've had 3 major jobs since 18 till now.
My first job was Little Caesars. My partner Mike, he was the hiring manager. We was in high school together, but he was the hiring manager. He just came out, talked to me, asked me a couple questions. We was in class. We had about 4 or 5 different classes together. I was seeing this man every single day.
Mm-hmm.
Then the next job, it was Starbucks. Somebody in my apartments actually told me to go to a hiring fair at Starbucks.
Okay. And
he told me about that. So it was kind of that was an application thing, but it was more like an interview on the spot. So once I get the interview, I feel like I'm good. So
I felt like that too. Yeah,
that was still a door open though.
Yeah.
Next job was working for Mr. Roberts, and my brother and everybody already went there. It was family there and all whatever. So
so you was just
next job after that. I would say actually the Boys and Girls Club maybe. Right after that, I worked at the
You worked at the Boys and Girls Club?
Downtown.
This is crazy, dog.
Yeah, so
I'm learning with y'all.
Yeah,
I'm learning with y'all. I didn't even know.
Yeah, I worked at the boys, but I've been working in education for forever.
Well, I know that. Yeah.
As I got older, even working at the college, it was like I got that job because I knew somebody. I didn't tell them I wasn't working. They just told somebody about me. And then, ever since that, all the other positions and jobs I have, it was like I knew somebody already, or I was already in the door. You get what I'm saying? So, yeah.
Do you think that needs to be practiced more in our community, or do you think it's already being practiced enough?
I don't know. I think that's just, honestly, for me, I think it's just me. Like I'm that type of person that kind of I get along well with people.
Yeah.
I know how to navigate that type of stuff. I grew up in office type settings, so I kind of like know how to communicate in different ways with different people. I really don't have problems getting along with people, so that's a plus for me,
right?
Because despite maybe my skills might be high, but I might not be the A plus person, but because you like me a lot, that might get me.
There may be a totally different reason from the other people of like why we think this is a good candidate.
It's just like in school. It's like, yeah, there's kids who get very good grades. They may not be the valedictorian. They may not be the person who's getting all the A's plus A pluses sometimes are the people that like, yeah, that's cool, but they may not have the personality or characteristics of other people to kind of balance that out. So I never, in a real way, I never felt like I needed to be like, I never wanted to be the best.
Yep.
It's just I wanted to be very good.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Because I'm going to let the rest, my personality speak.
I'm going to show you why you made the best decision.
Yeah.
Right,
You're going to like me.
Right.
And I'm going to do good work.
That's how I see it. I mean,
the best.
I think that the way he explained it, I think is important because I think our culture needs to practice that more. I think we need to practice gatekeeping, and we need to practice nepotism, and we need to practice all of that stuff. And the reason why I say that is because usually, we complain about gatekeeping because we're trying to get into somewhere that we have to prove ourselves versus trying to get into somewhere where we're already proven because of family history,
it's like
because of reputation.
They prevent us from getting in, and there's nothing for us to gatekeep.
Yeah.
Or we feel like we don't have.
I think we have plenty of stuff to gatekeep, but we don't gatekeep it.
In our mind and in our practice.
Yeah. Subconsciously, we don't think there's anything to gatekeep. I agree with that. Right. I agree with that.
And because we really don't be having gates.
We don't.
So for us, it's not a
see out here. Can you explain?
Gatekeeping.
Or should I explain? Okay. Because you said something, but I don't think you understood the impact of what you said. You said there's no gates, right?
Yeah.
So out here in California, right, we got sidewalks and the properties, right? For y'all that don't live in California, may live in the Midwest or the South, and like all the homes, they have backyards and they all have separate fences, right? Gates and stuff, right? But see, in the South or like in Maryland, places like that,
really no fences
there's no fences. Like everybody just shared a backyard, like that back space, the woods and all of that, right?
That's true. I never thought about that. You just made a fact.
Yeah. So out here, we're very territorial.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? And I think that what you're saying is, as a culture, we need to operate with, hey, we're territorial. We got to protect this. Like, we got to protect the vibranium.
In some ways and fashion.
We got to protect the vibranium.
But just in who we are, in our essence, we as black folks are.
We don't have enough.
Not even black folks, people of the African diaspora. We don't keep gates.
Well, we don't have an oppressor
you know what I'm saying?
intention or mindset.
No, what I'm saying is like we're inclusive.
Yes.
We appreciate people having an appreciation for what it is that we do and who we are, and if you want to be,
and we appreciate culture. We appreciate other cultures.
Yeah.
We appreciate, like, for example, if we're talking about food, we appreciate Chinese food. We appreciate Spanish food.
We don't dislike you for who you are.
Yeah,
and we understand your plight.
We actually find things that we relate to you on.
We be like, oh yeah, y'all. We'll embrace you. And not to say that other cultures don't do that, but that's just been the experience of people of our, you know what I'm saying? Who
we don't understand that. We don't understand that we have enough value.
Don't appreciate and don't, accept us as well, but that's just been, you know what I'm saying, the overall experience.
Yeah. But I think we gotta do a better job though.
On that second part, when it comes to the kids, when Anthony Mackie said something about that the
way he raises boys.
Yeah, but it was the way he raises his boys, but really it came out of the topic about talking about how America is really kind of diluting what it is to be in essence, what a man is, and making it more kind of like this toxic masculinity topic.
Yeah.
And so for me, I get it.
Can I correct that statement? The statement you said is correct, but it's something I gotta say it because you said something about toxic masculinity, right?
For sure.
Because that's a real
it's a liner.
It's a real campaign.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say it exists. Yeah. It's a real campaign, but I feel like that's a hidden way of saying masculinity is toxic. Yeah, when they say toxic masculinity, they're saying masculinity is toxic because
I think it came out of something like I think they're really like it. You know how some things like they'll water it down.
A man didn't create that term.
Just label things all under the same umbrella because it kind of matches.
Yeah,
I think maybe there was a reason for this kind of term toxic masculinity to like, you know, when it's like somebody is overdoing something, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think that might have been like some experience that many women may have had to where it's like, okay, so like we know what masculinity is, we can understand that, but like what you doing is you like J-Man is you over whooping. Like you just doing too much on the masculinity side.
Yeah.
You like making it seem like this is what masculinity
to me
really
the concept
represents.
of toxic masculinity, brother, is almost an oxymoron if you think about it.
Yeah, because it's that person that's toxic, not the masculinity is not toxic. But I guess it's like the bear conversation, right? Like I had that conversation with a couple of women, and they keep talking about the bear, and they would choose the bear. And I'm like, damn, how many times you been around a bear? And then I'd be like, damn, how many times were you around a man who didn't do what you do? Didn't now, but it took for me to have these conversations to understand like where their brain is. They're not thinking logically. Like for us, if we was in the woods with anybody, we'd choose the person over the bear. Because we know what a bear, but for them, the idea of not knowing and having so many different weird experiences with men, it's a different way that we're even trying to answer that question. It's frustrating for us because it makes it seem like, so y'all trying to say all of us is like that?
Yeah.
That's who everybody is. Like, we get it. We know these motherfuckers exist.
Yeah.
But what about the man that would have helped you out the woods?
Yep.
What about the man that would have helped you fight the bear or whatever that would have that you would have came across? Or like, what about the man that might have, like some of the men who protected you from men in situations that were in public that were enough men around?
I have I'll tell you, I had a story. I told my mom and I told my wife a story about how I defended the sister at the grocery store because she was being harassed by some dude, some skinny. Don't get offended. Don't get in your feelings. Some skinny white dude was just harassing her for no reason. She was there with her daughters, and I even seen them in certain aisles because where we were, you know, how we were shopping. And make a long story short, she wasn't even talking to the dude. Dude thought he was talking to her when she was talking to the cashier. She let him know several times that she wasn't talking to him. He kept pressing the issue. Security down there, he could hear the commotion. He didn't say nothing, so I stepped in. And my braids was all over the place at that time. So I looked like I didn't care about nothing.
You look like ODB?
Yeah.
Or Method Man?
And so, yeah, I stepped in and was like, you know, started barking. And then what pissed me off is when I started doing that, then security want to come down and
angry black man
check the situation and stuff like that. And the reason why I did that is because I thought about how many times I seen in the comment section or on social media, they don't protect black women. And to me, that's the concept. That's the definition of protecting black women in that scenario. Right?
It's one thing to be like, all right, we're gonna separate certain things. Cause I even got in a fight on a light rail because of this shit. But I got in a fight with a dude who slapped these two youngsters. It's difference between being protective of black women and being a Captain Save-Out.
Yeah. Like, yeah. It's a difference.
Hey, man, don't talk to her that way.
Yeah.
Like, we ain't talking about that.
Yeah.
We talking about we observed some shit. He doing too much. It might have been like the dude who slapped these two young.
The behavior is not warranted based on the interaction.
Right. So these two youngster females, I don't know what year this was. I don't know how old I was. They said something to this dude who was asleep on the bed. He might have been like a vagrant or something like that. And he got it. They was like, this ain't no bed. They said something about him sleeping. He got up. And mind you, I'm just reading a book. And I'm seeing it, and he walked up, and he smack him. So I stood up, I'm like, hey. And he walked towards me. So I'm not talking no more. Once you walk towards me, you done slap them.
Yeah, and you're
Bing, boop, 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 boop.
Oh, the Kendrick song,
All
huh?
that. Yeah, it was a lot of what they call onomatopoeias.
Mm-hmm.
That's a word they call onomatopoeia. That's when the old school Batman TV show, you remember when it go pow, boom, like that, like Missy Elliott type shit.
Yeah. Missy Elliott, Busta Rhymes, Ludacris, the music
like
videos.
Yeah. So my thing is, it's a difference between you captain saving and you being protective of black women. And so maybe that, regardless, we as men, we have a different experience, so we can't say totally that men, what about all these times? Because it might, in comparison to the times that they may feel have been harassed, something really happened to them,
right?
In comparison to the times that somebody might have stood up for them, it may not be a balance. So we get that.
Yeah,
it's just a good conversation to have, though. But
that's an amazing conversation to have.
With mine, like I felt bad, but I had to hem my son up yesterday. Hem him up. His name Jaheim, and I got to hemming him up. I felt bad, but he's there, his partner there, and I don't even remember what was happening or what the conversation was about, but he was getting like, his tone was getting like a little too much.
Mm-hmm.
And first I gave him the eyes.
Mm-hmm.
Like you know what I'm saying? Like, relax. And he's like, what? And he's like, his body language was too much. It was verbal body language.
Oh yeah, it's too much. It's too much air in your chest, bruh.
You're doing too much, John. Say it again, I'll stab you in the face with a soldering iron. Like that type of Christopher Walken type.
Yeah.
He was getting I was getting too much from his energy. And so I tried to give him the, you know what I'm saying, the old school, the eyes. You know what I'm saying? And he was talking, his mom was there, and the way he was talking,
audience.
I don't play that, do that.
Audience.
You could do that, but with us, like, we might, you know what I'm saying? We don't really, you know what I'm saying? We understand. Okay, I get a little time. I remember being a teenager. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
But now you acting like you ignorant, like you don't understand what I'm doing right now. Like when I'm telling you with the eyes. So then your mom tell you, hey, you see what your dad doing with them eyes? Like, he's what? And so I'm like, I'm telling him, I'm like, hey, bro, relax. I'm trying to save you.
Yeah.
I'm telling this friend, I'm like, hey, man, just talk to your partner. Like, I'm just talking like this. I'm like, hey, man, talk to your partner, man. And I'm really trying to. So I tell him, I say, meet me in the back.
Yeah.
So we go to the back of the room, and I close the room because I'm at the point where I gotta check you.
Yeah.
We don't really do this often. So as I come up to try to check, I don't remember if I went to grab his collar or something, but you know what, black parents, when you pull the belt out and you block the belt, that means you tried to fight me.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's what that means.
To me, when I went like this and his hand touched my hand and tried to swipe, we was close to the bed and I grabbed him by his collar, and now you're on the bed. Yeah. And now I'm talking to you in a low voice, in the Batman voice. Now it's
said in the Batman voice.
Now,
where's Falco?
Where's Falco?
Yo had to turn into the Dark Knight on his son. Yeah.
I had to turn into Ice Cube like, what I say? So I give him the talking to, and then now I'm talking, and I'm like, and mostly what I'm saying is because I don't play no disrespect of mamas, bro. I don't play that shit.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't play. I might even get some tones and whatever with my mom every once in a while as a kid, and even, you know what I'm saying, a little bit. But my mom, though, I lose my mind about kids disrespect their parents and their moms. Regardless, my parents whipped my ass. My dad used to say all kind of crazy shit to me. I had the most restraint in life over my parents. I never will. So to me, especially you don't be getting your ass whooped. Yeah. Despite whatever type of relationship status you have with your ain't nobody over here you're not getting misused or abused by nobody.
I don't take no disrespect from no youngins. Period. Play that. My kids are not. Period. I don't do well.
We the last of the Mohicans.
Yeah, I don't do well with that.
And I don't whoop.
And we young enough to go there too.
I don't whoop. Yeah, I told you I've been showing him Like every once in a while, when I go in his room and I play around with him and I just show him my man strength. I just give him a little bit of it.
Yeah, bruh.
Because I've been.
You an ice cream cone, dog.
I just need
you
him.
You an ice cream cone.
I just need him once because now we eye to eye level and like in height.
That's how it go. They get eye level when they think something.
Yeah, I just need you to understand and feel the man strength, so that when it cross your mind, just like this now, he gave up very fast because he understood. He was like, oh yeah, I'm not as strong as I thought I was.
Well, see. Let me
because I experienced it.
Let me break this down. I need to bring this. Let me break this down just in case he see the episode, right? And, or his friends see the episode, or youngsters. Got it. Youngsters, what I need you to understand when you get to be a teenager, right, and you try to pull up on your father or your uncle or anybody like that, what you got to understand is you have young man anger, young man testosterone, energy, right? That energy. So you got all this endurance and stamina, and you're like, yeah, man, I don't think he's ready. They old, they gray.
You fighting for glory.
Yeah, but what you got to understand is when we grab your shirt or when we get you in a headlock,
we fighting to kill you.
What you have to understand is this life or death, right?
That's how we exhibit our strength.
But the amount of strength there, right? Yeah. See, life or death is the motivation, but that strength, that's bills.
Yep.
That's disappointment. Woo. That's anger. You know what I'm saying? I just had to change the alternator. You know what I'm saying?
And after this, I got
overdraft last week. That's all that right there in the arm. Right there in the arm. That's all that when you get in the headlock. When we got you like that, we thinking about all of that. You ate the last honey bun. You put the water jug back in there with it empty.
Now it ain't,
all of that energy.
Now in the middle of the night, I'm dehydrated.
That's where all that. And see, y'all don't have that anger and energy yet because you're still young. You know what I'm saying? Toilet paper and paper towels is getting replaced.
You didn't tell me the toilet paper was out. Now I got to take a shit in the morning.
Yeah.
Now that's all
that frustration right there when we get you in a headlock. So youngsters, you got to understand it's a whole lot more. It's a whole lot more heat coming off that energy and strength than what you prepare for.
Your muscles ain't tight enough yet.
Yeah.
Like you ain't had enough of you ain't been through enough struggles for your life. Whooping your father is not like you gotta beat your son like your life depends on.
We're at that age, bro, where our muscles lock up. It's like, let me go. It's like I'm trying. Let me go. I'm trying.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying. I said,
go get the pliers.
I told him, I said, son, don't ever try to get physical with me because you will get hurt. It's not, I didn't even tell him like, man, I'll fuck you up. Like, it's, son, don't try that again, please.
You're afraid for them.
Please don't try that
again. You're like genuinely afraid for them.
Him, I said, bro, please don't try that again because what happened.
I will detonate your jaw. All of that is gone. Just the top row of your mouth and up is the only thing there. All of this is gone. What was the show? Respect Your Jaw?
I was about to say it. Shout out to, what was that? Money and Murder?
Yeah, I think it was Money and Murder.
Tell your brain to tell your jaw, respect your jaw. Yeah, shout out to him.
Respect your jaw, man.
But yeah, that was what it was. It was bittersweet because I got into him and as I was giving him a talking to. It wasn't like me. I had to calm him down already because I don't like to even get like that. And as I'm just expressing to him, like, he's sitting there tired, crying or whatever, and I'm not like boo-hooing, but like you see a couple tears.
Pride.
And I'm telling him,
it's
like,
pride.
Hey,
that's pride. That's pride.
Regardless of me, and you might not be in a 2-parent household, but I never accept you disrespecting your mom at all. Like, you might not have thought you or knew you was being disrespectful, but you're not ignorant, you're not dumb.
Yeah.
You see the nonverbal cues I'm giving you.
Yeah.
And then as I come here and try to check you regardless, I'm on you like that because that's how I got to get at you as a man.
Right.
You didn't understand all the other cues I gave you. Being calm, this is what you get.
And another thing, like, while we're on this conversation about raising young men, right? What young men have to understand is that when you get disrespectful with your parents, you're not seeing you're not seeing yourself in that moment. Because if an outside person disrespects your parents, your energy is going to be defensive. Think about when we were like in elementary school, the yo mama jokes or your mama, that was the automatic words. All right, now we got to square up because you done said something about my mama or whatever the case is. And so what youngsters don't understand is while you're over there thinking that it's cool to disrespect your parents, the minute somebody on the outside disrespects your mom or your dad, now it don't feel the same.
And it go back to this though. You got a younger sibling or whoever, your parents usually will tell you, if you let somebody or if you disrespect your sibling in a certain way, it's not like just regular jokes and shit.
Yeah.
And having humor. We understand that.
Right.
But if you're disrespectful in certain manners or certain ways in front of company, one, you doing this in front of company, so that's disrespectful. But you also make it, you may have potentially allowed this person to think that's how you could get it, that how they could get in, or how the level of respect that you have for your parents or siblings or whomever, that's the level of respect other people may have.
Right.
Like some people are just gonna be respectful off top regardless.
Well, you know the saying, people gonna respect you how you respect yourself.
Yeah, but don't be going.
So the same rules apply to your siblings. If you dissing your family, then the people around you, they feel like they could do that too because it's accepted, and it's like, nah, you can't operate like that. And it's crazy because one of the things that Anthony Mackie was talking about when he talked about raising his boys is he said his oldest keep the younger ones in line. Like, hey, don't piss dad off. You know what I'm saying? So it's almost like it don't even get past the older sibling. Like, hey, I've been here before. I'm older than y'all. Don't even try that with. Usually the older sibling understands the alliance they got to have with the parents because they're the parent when the parents aren't around.
They the testament of the shit. They done fucked everything.
Usually the oldest. Yeah.
Either they gonna tell you the real or they still over somewhere else because they done fucked up. Yeah,
for sure. And I think that all ties into this war. Because that's how I seen it when he said it, the war on masculinity, bro.
Yeah, I get it.
You know, even how you broke down, like, hey, I had to check Junior. You know what I'm saying? And the way I look at it is, I feel like the climate that we're in right now, what I'm really believing is that there's a contradiction in saying the toxic masculinity concept, right? Toxic individual is what I would label that. I wouldn't say masculinity, and this is why. Because say there's a dude, ladies, right? Say there's a dude that you're crazy about, and he's not the most aggressive. He's pretty compromising. He's willing to negotiate, and you know he's got a soft tone to him. He's chill. He's non-confrontational, right? That's not probably who you want if somebody's breaking into your house in the middle of the night. That's probably not who you want if your man is waiting in the car for you to come out the store and it's a dude harassing you. See, we can't pick and choose how you want the Hulk to react, right? You have to understand why the Hulk is operating that way. And the thing is if by your logic, toxic masculinity was a real thing, because I don't think it's a real thing. I think toxic individuals is a real thing. Who's fighting these wars? Who's policing these streets? Who's overseeing these programs? Who's running these companies? Right? And I'm not talking about the people we have a disdain for. I'm not talking about the people that are corrupt. I'm talking about the people that actually stand for something. I'm talking about Malcolm, Martin, Marcus Garvey, and the list goes on. The Black Panthers, all of these different concepts of masculinity, and a lot of these men were young back then too, right? We can't downplay the importance of that masculinity and what kind of protection it provides. Now, if that masculinity turns into some other stuff, that's not masculinity, that's toxic, right? Because there's women that are toxic.
Toxic femininity.
What is toxic femininity? Toxic movement. And feminine don't go together.
Yeah, the feminist.
Right?
Nah, I think it do.
You think toxic and feminine go together? You think so? Oh man, hey, listen, dog. Maybe I'm not seeing it a certain type of way.
I think toxic and masculinity go together, and toxic and femininity go together.
I don't think so, dog. I think toxic is its own entity, and I think feminine.
That's what I'm saying. It's like
if you want to say
both of them, then it's the same.
If you say the strip club is toxic femininity, then yeah. Because you should be in there throwing your.
I think by saying that you acknowledge both, then it's almost the same as just saying toxic. There are toxic people, and I don't think.
I just look at the concept. I look at the concept as like
ideas can lead to, if you lean on these ideals, then maybe it can be considered toxic masculinity or femininity if you're on the extreme sides of them.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
All right.
If you lead on the extreme sides of those, then it would be
where do you think the war on masculinity can, because that's what Blackton American was talking about, right?
Mm-hmm.
When he was saying that, you know, there's a shortage and there's a disdain basically for man in the U.S. Because I don't think this is a worldwide thing. I definitely think this is more of a America thing. Where do you think that came from? Like, how did that happen?
I think things happen in a balance. Like, there's probably a point in time in our recent history where masculinity, I guess, was like at the forefront of how people thought or their experience, and so now there is a counterbalance of people who are against that. So just like how we had this whole time period of the way in which people who are part of the LGBTQ community in America, I mean, for years, I mean, it's not just recent times that they were ostracized or outed as members of society, but I would say within America, there is a counterbalance sometimes in the way in which those who were maybe the minorities or people who were the recipients of like black people, how black people talk in the hallway now on the phone, or they walking in the office and they on the phone, and it's kind of like they loud and it's just like,
and they asking for an uppercut.
I wish somebody would tell me I can't talk this way. I think that's kind of like how things happen. It's like,
so you're inviting a fight.
Yeah, so like just like a lot of people, LGBTQ community didn't have as much power as they had. Now they got a little bit more influence and power to move around and make things happen.
Not these days. Because
And
DJT ain't playing about that.
I mean, but you can't really talk about them in the same way that you could talk about other communities. But
true, this is true. It's a protected group. Yeah.
With masculinity, there was a period of time when there was a hyper masculinity. It's not like women just felt like they haven't had rights.
Right.
They felt like they haven't had this equivalent rights for very long, whether it's true or not. And so I think that the way in which this masculinity thing might have been more recent times, like I would say 90s, 2000s, where the idea of like masculinity and ideals was more of a forefront or conversation to where now.
Well, I think it was I think in that era, there was a real big issue with trying to separate who was masculine, that kind of like the alpha beta, who was masculine, who was soft, whatever the case it was, especially with the golden ages of hip hop and things like that. The type of movies that were coming out, the hero, you know, versus the coward. But what I'll say, I'd take my lokes off for this one. What I will say is that my problem with the critique and criticism of men is that you want to criticize how men are, but you don't want to do the jobs of men. It's our duty to take the trash out. It's our duty to make sure that there's a roof over our head. It's our duty to die for our family. To our knowledge, we only get one life, and our responsibility is to give ours for our wife and children, right? We are supposed to work to the bone. We are supposed to provide the best. We're supposed to give our best in our weakest point, but then we're supposed to also regulate and relegate our emotions and all this. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not talking about champion abuse, right? I'm not talking about promoting abuse. But what I'm saying is, like in any subject, you have to become something to be the maximum of whatever it is that you need to be to complete a task, right? Even the almighty Beyonce has to be Sasha Fierce, and I say that with air quotes, to get through her performances. You have to be something else mentally, right? So, for example, the difference between the hero and the coward is the decision, right? Mm-hmm. The hero is willing to walk into the fire, and there's a possibility that they're not going to walk out of it. The coward is like, I'm not going to take that chance, right? So if that little if a decision separates the difference of what you become, you still have to become something to make the decision. You see what I mean? So it's to me, it's weird. It's a weirdo mindset to say that, toxic masculinity, if you do this or if you do that, or a lot of times in this era, it really boils down to, if you disagree with somebody's concept, it's toxic masculinity. And to be honest, it's more of one side of certain groups that are saying that, because I don't see any dudes running around saying toxic femininity. I think the dudes that do say it, it's just a rebuttal from what they hear.
Saying. I think the term was used so often that it just became watered down to kind of mean something less than what it really actually means.
It's just like misogyny, right? You're misogynist. There's a rebuttal. It's called misandrist. But you don't see a whole bunch of dudes running around talking about, yo, man, I don't like her. She's a misandrist. Yeah. Sound like a teacher. Misandrist. Can I get up and get an eraser?
Yeah.
You know what I'm like? We just not running around saying that. To be honest, as men, like I've even heard a lot of women say, "Oh, you hate women." I don't see
like
any.
You. I don't like you.
Yeah, because I don't know any dudes who's just like, man, I can't stand females. Because let me tell you something. If I got some homeboys that's talking about they don't like females, hey, bro, hey, dog, what that mean?
Yeah, like what you mean?
We're not
judging, but we just need to understand and know.
Nah, I'm judging. Okay. Because you done been up around me, man. You know what I'm saying? What that mean?
Yeah,
you been around me, dog.
Words,
I said up and around. You know what I'm saying? The up in. That's a little other. You know what I'm saying?
I just said watch.
I'm good.
It's a lot of people watching.
But I got you know what I'm saying. I got babies. I got the wife. That ain't. You know what I'm saying. I don't go to Diddy parties, but what I'm saying is that when you have people, bruh, talking crazy like that, then you need to really check what they saying. But I don't know any dudes. I don't know any dudes. I'm not cool with any homies like that that's just running around talking about they hate women like that.
But you know what I can say?
What's up?
A lot of dudes behind closed door act way different with women than they do around their friends, and we don't really get to see it or know it.
Hey, big dog,
it's a lot of them.
I disagree.
And we find out later.
I disagree.
I don't know, man.
I'm gonna tell you why I disagree. I disagree with you because all of us act different behind closed doors with our women than we do with the homies.
No, what I mean.
Because it's a different relationship and dynamic.
Just what I mean.
Yeah, I want my wife to rub my head.
No, you're right.
I am a child when I don't feel well, bruh.
That's acceptable. What I mean,
I cry.
That's acceptable. I shed tears with my lady around. I be more vulnerable.
All right, Logan's back on. All right.
But I think
there are dudes that do play a different role behind closed door. I know what you mean.
Door, they may act like some like just how you said we all know that a lot of us.
Dang, that's crazy. They hated on you.
I'll call you back. Recording right now, please.
You shouldn't have did that, bro. You was just talking about respect for the parents.
Nah. So, but yeah, like some of us know that some of us act like we're a certain way and then really be different. So like, of course we all know that we are more vulnerable with our women.
You a player out in the streets, but you really a good guy at home, and you really
not even a good guy in the sense that it's like, oh, you really be like controlling.
Oh yeah. Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah.
Or you really come and tell us one side of the story that leave out all the other evidence that may contradict what you saying.
I think. Hey, you know what?
I think you really be putting hands on her.
Hey, I think a lot of women will appreciate this question that I'm gonna ask you, so you can answer it. What's your concept? I mean, because that's your example, right? Of like how dudes be switching up.
For sure.
What's your concept of that? What does that guy look like? What is that guy that be fronting around everybody but really be behind closed doors, the villain, the controlling dude, you know what I'm saying, really got her out here looking crazy?
It's no way to really say it's a profile, but this is what I can say.
You don't think so? I think there's a profile, bruh.
I can say there's characteristics that we've observed that might
Okay.
fit a pattern.
I'll take that. I'll take that.
But you never know.
Right.
The one who out here popping it too much. He gotta say something about this. How he talked, like he trying to like.
Kind of like Derrick Jackson.
Overconfidence.
Kind of like a Derrick Jackson, how he was when he first came out.
It's like you try to overcompensate. It's like you doing too much on talking about how you really like.
So like the Derrick Jacksons, the Yachtas, guys like that.
I guess, yeah. Like,
okay.
Me, them is like, because it really.
Because I don't want you to feel like I'm baiting you.
And the reason I'm saying that is because it'd be ironic in how somebody might pump their chest out like in that way.
A real man.
And you find out some shit.
A real
like,
man.
Oh, man, you was a sucker too.
A real man. A real man. A real man.
Oh, you talking about dude that was? You talking about dude that was that had the little?
Well, a lot of these dudes will come out, and this is, you know what? Let me speak to the ladies, and I'm gonna speak to the fellas that get pissed off at these kind of conversations. Anytime you see these dudes keep trying to tell you what a real man is, that to me that's a red flag, because there's a lot of real men in different situations. Yeah. There could be a dude sitting up there telling you a real man is this, but you know who are also real men? Dudes that are in the military that got to go over there and fight for the country, or the dude that's not afraid to go tell the gangster in the neighborhood that he's not afraid. I'm not afraid of you, and you need to stop self. Remember Rock? Remember that show Rock?
Oh yeah.
That was the concept of a real man not being afraid to go check the drug dealers and the street dudes, right? Or check a dude that he knows is putting hands on a woman, right? So we're in a time where people are deeming real men based off what they do for a woman financially, right? But real men are men that get up and go to work every day, people that are involved with the community, people that serve the community, people that are honest, you know, inside and out about how they feel about their community, their home, their family, how they treat the women in their family and things of that nature. So when I hear that a real man, first of all, I do think it takes a real man to explain what a real man is.
Not a woman to say what a real man is.
Because when women say it, it's like, okay, if you know you have all the answers about what a real man is, but you'll also defend your homegirl if she's cheating on her dude.
Yeah, but so the concept of what a real man is, like, I could understand if that came from a woman. It would be more.
She got to be an OG.
Not even an OG.
To
I would be
me.
more accepting of what a real man is if it's a woman who either had I could see an OG if she was married to a quote unquote real man.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Had a lifetime with this person or whatever, or a woman who was raised with her father, whether in the home 24/7 or raised by her father continuously.
But you know what those women
able to kind of get an understanding of what a real man is, because a lot of for a man, I don't think you can tell a woman what a real woman is unless you had that experience,
right?
And vice versa,
right?
I don't think you as a woman can say.
But we're not sitting up there saying. Yeah. We're not sitting up there saying what a real woman is. We sit up there saying like what a feminine woman is or what an aggressive woman is or whatever, but not a real. And I wanted to add to what you said. Like, most women that understand what a real man is going to point you in the direction of one so you can get that wisdom. You understand what I'm saying? Because I've been in those scenarios around an OG woman is like, well, let me introduce you to my husband over here. He can give you some game or whatever the case it is. But I had to point that out. Because there's a lot of people don't understand that there's people out here caping, and there's people out here playing on your emotions. They want you to buy the 6-week course. You know what I'm saying? They want you to do all of that.
Subscribe so you get so you can get the notifications.
Right.
For sure.
And you gonna be subscribed for over a year, still trying to get the answers. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And they're not even sway.
I'll tell you next week.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Stay tuned next week. We're gonna give you the rest. Mm-hmm. So I don't approve of somebody sitting behind and saying this one concept of a real, because there's real men in so many different areas of the world, bro.
There's no true definition, really.
I think there's characteristics that we can agree on, but
there's no real definition.
Yeah, because there's real men for certain things that you need them for.
Yeah, there's too many factors that play into whatever conditions or going on for you to say that this is a real man, because it might be somebody who might not got like the heart of another person, but that don't take away from him being a real man, because he may have these other areas that he checks off. So it just depends on the scenario, the situation, and what we would hope a real man would do. Sometimes we project on what we expect a real man to do, and everybody don't have that type of characteristic. But overall, your overall score on the man, what's that shit that if we was to give you points, based on certain things, like, okay, all right, if you equal out to at least 17 points out of 23, we could say you a real man.
You get your real man card.
If you get under 9 points, it's like the DMV is like you might have to go back and redo the test.
Yeah. Well, I tell you what, I will tell you what. If we going off of that scale, you definitely lose a lot of points if you're not there for your kids.
If you're not there for your kids,
that's automatic, like 15-point deduction.
But when you're not there for your kids, it got to be a certain type of question, because is it your fault that you're not there for your kids?
No. This is by choice. Like, if you choose to not be there for your... No. I'm not playing that game, because I know there's men that go through it. For sure. I'm talking about men that choose not to be there for their kids, and nobody's making it difficult for them. Speaking of kids, we got a part 3 with the Detroit mom, man.
Oh, the Detroit mom of that. Oh, okay, so
the part 1, we for y'all that ain't been tuning in, that should have been tuning in. Part 1, this mother from Detroit lost 2 of her children from hypothermia. I think it was a 9-year-old and like a 2-year-old, right? Like it. And then everybody was dragging the father, saying the father should have been there. He shouldn't need an excuse to come get his kids.
They died from hypothermia for being in the car.
From being in the car because they had nowhere to go. They were in a van.
I think one
at a casino parking lot, right?
Carbon monoxide, and the other died from hypothermia.
Right, which is pretty sketch, right? Now, the father's been getting dragged this whole time, by the way, right? Because he shouldn't have been at the gym. He should have went and got his kids, and we'll get to that whenever. Now, the second part, we talked about how she was getting a lot of flack because not too long after her kids passed away, she was partying in a nice warm house that obviously wasn't available when her and her kids had to sleep in the van, right? Twerking, hair. She didn't even look like the same person. Hair was done and everything, right? So a lot of people had questions like, yo, well, where was these people at when you were struggling? And then it turned into a debate between men and women of like, well, everybody grieves differently. She can't get things off her chest. And I thought that was weird, right? Now we're at part 3 of this story where she was awarded a house, right? They gave her a home and everything like that. There was a whole documentary. Yeah, there was like, they're blessing her and stuff like that because of what happened. And then right after that, there's a warrant for her arrest behind her children. And the crazy thing with me, bro, is I'm going to call it like I see it. I don't know what it is about our community, bro, and some of our sisters in this community where they're just willing to blindly defend. Bruh, if there's a warrant for your arrest, that means they have some information or they have some evidence that shows that you probably played some role in whatever it is that you're getting ready to get charged for. Now, we understand there are some things with the judicial system that us as colored folks, black folks, however you want to word it, disagree with. But you don't go from being this inspiration of people banding together, getting you a home to just, oh yeah, man, we got it. There's things called autopsies, toxicology reports that take weeks. So there's something that has probably happened in between that time to say, hey, this is suspect. But this is the crazy part. The craziest part isn't even her getting the warrant. That's surprising after her getting a home and everything finally. The crazy part is how many women were saying that the dad should get a warrant too.
A warrant for what though?
Thank you. Well, he wasn't look, what? Yo, I'm so glad that some of y'all that have these thoughts and ideas are not police officers, judges, and lawyers.
That's crazy. So he should get a warrant for being in another city?
he should get a warrant because I've seen people saying that's on both parents, right? That's not how custody works, and that's not how parenting works, dog.
No, when the child is with him, then he's responsible.
Right.
And when the child is with her,
she's responsible. Now, could he have done a better job at getting his kids? I don't know.
Yeah, we don't know that.
Because TV and the way they clip and cut things up and interviews up, they're going to cut it up to make you see it how you're responding to it.
Yeah, we don't know the intricacies of their relationship and all of that, like how often the kids saw him or not, or what their experience was between.
And what parents. I believe is, I believe that I believe the parents don't live in the same proximity or the same city.
No, as far as what I've seen, no, they don't.
So for those that are wondering why the father didn't just get out the gym and go get his kids, I don't even think they live in the same city.
So at least I think it was an hour or something away.
Right. And then they were saying, well, why do you need a reason to go get your kids? The same reason why we give reasons of why we're not showing up to certain things. When we call in to work, we don't say I ain't coming in today. We call in because we calling in sick or there's an emergency or whatever. That's just adding context or understanding to the situation.
Right.
But I just felt like I feel like a lot of people were looking for blood because a lot of times what I see is when a mother has a mishap like this, where's the dad? Why didn't the dad do this? And I've grown up and experienced these things, right? But if you're placing blame that quick, that means you have no acknowledgement of accountability anywhere. And speaking from a parent, bro, and I know you're a parent too, there are times where certain things happen with our kids where we feel bad. That is our accountability because of how we feel.
Yeah.
But in this scenario, this shit is just too damn weird to just be like, oh, well, the dad. It was that in denial, man. But I'm very curious to see because I couldn't find the exact reasons of why there were warrants for her. Mm-hmm. But I know the story sounded funky from the beginning, but we didn't have that much to go off of until it developed. Right. But I don't feel good about this one. But
yeah, this is a developing story. But the fact that they got a warrant for her arrest, it would probably be. I'm assuming there would be negligence or something like that.
Yeah, and partying on Facebook Live don't make it easier for her either. Yeah,
but I mean they would have to have some evidence of that because what is negligence when you don't have the resources to do anything? Like being in a car might have been better than just being out on the street.
Well, I'll tell you something that this is why you don't post everything on social media. I'm going to tell you if I'm a detective or if I'm investigating this situation, what two things stood out to me, what kind of incriminates her a little bit. Number one, partying on Facebook Live right after it happened. After you did an interview where you had a fresh face, no tears, talking about the situation. That looks suspect. It don't mean she's guilty, but that looks suspect. But the second thing that makes her look a little guilty, her damn cousin doing the interview saying her only fault was being too prideful.
What she mean by that?
Exactly. Her cousin did an interview. I'll find the clip somewhere because I sent it in the topic list that we had, but there was a clip of her cousin being interviewed. It's like, yeah, my cousin's getting all this flack or whatever, and her only real fault was like being too prideful. Being too prideful means that there was probably some opportunities you could have took and chose not to take them. Yeah. So if you're an investigator watching everything, right? Okay, the dad is an hour away or an hour and some change away.
She didn't want to take him to him. She didn't want to give up custody to him or take him to him, and he might have been in pursuit of them, or the family might have suggested that. And she was not willing to do that.
Well, he said in his interview, right? Remember, he said, man, like there's family and stuff that she could have, like my family. So it sounded like he probably like moved away or something. Oh, my family, there's people there that, she could have reached out to. And then there was some women in the comments that had some logic that was like, why didn't she go to a church? A lot of times when you go to a church will take in women and children, especially
it's only
when
a
being
limited
real
amount
cold.
of time that you could get that, but I mean, still, on certain times of the year when it's really raining or cold, a lot more churches will be more open than a lot than usual.
Exactly, because of the circumstances of like what could happen,
and we don't know what resources are available or not.
Yeah, this happened in Detroit, so yeah, it could be different.
We ain't gonna say she didn't tap into those resources. She might have, utilized all the resources she could at that time. But.
Well, they did say she was on waiting lists and stuff like that, but it's just the aftermath, the afterwards, the partying, and then, like I said, you get the home, and then I don't know. There's some stuff there that's going to develop, but I think the big part is the mindset of how many women and young women was just adamant on like, well, the dad, and it's like, listen, I'm more so worried about what happened to those babies and what's going to happen to the kids that she currently has. Mm-hmm. People are so worried about placing blame, but I haven't seen any conversations on the well-being of the kids. That's the whole concept of the conversation.
True.
The well-being of the kids. You know what I'm saying? So, I don't know. I just, you look at people's ideas and the way they think, man, and it's scary because some of the ways that people think and the way that they operate are the same people that also have kids that are probably going to be sharing a classroom in a world with our kids. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, man, I don't know, dog.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know, man.
I don't want my kid in the same classroom.
Man, not with the way you thinking and the way you drinking. Nah. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, dog. I think it's almost time to get up out of here, man. I think we done.
Yeah, we done had a good little talking.
Yeah, we had a good little.
Go ahead.
Cue the beast.
Kill the note.
Anyways, you've been tuning in to the Notion Podcast. I'm your host, Dizzy D Spill, with my co-host in the building,
Farmer Pope, man.
And you've been tuning in to a special series of Outlawed Opinions, because that's what we do. You already know where to find us. YouTube, Notion Podcast. TikTok is lit over there. Instagram. We are still building the Patreon, by the way. That is in the process. But you know where to find us, man. And you already know how the algorithm is. You got to turn our notifications on so you can see all of the updates, all of the posts that we have, because, we find that algorithm until we get in there the way we need to be in there. But until next time,